councillors to understand your risk profile and how they are mitigated, and we need to get that up and running reasonably quickly. So I'll hand over to Mr. Hobbs.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, thank you, councillors. Certainly the integrated planning framework, the business planning, work that we're doing is I think, really, well, it's critical, really. And Mr. Snellgrove's already referred to the fact that, and you're aware of the systems work that we did around financial modelling. We can't be reliant on individuals. Because people will move on. We've got to have systems and processes in place that whoever comes in, understands. It's easy to understand. It's easy to work within that framework. I did share with you when we presented the start of this journey that I had a concern that the long-term plan was the document that we as a business organisation were using to guide our work. And that's not entirely appropriate. I mean, it is obviously that we need to make sure we're delivering all the outcomes and the service level commitments we've made, the regulatory framework that we operate within. We have to deliver all those, or meet all those KPIs. But there's a lot of things that go on within the business that make that work. I won't share this entire document with you, but this is an update that will go to the executive team. And one thing we found when we went through and looked at all our work we've got on the go, outside of business as usual and regulatory framework work, is we had 210 other activities that were bubbling along that fell out of $5 million projects, that fell out of good initiatives and good ideas, but weren't sitting within that core of business we do. Now, I defy any business to be able to deliver 200 million to 5 to 6 is probably a good number in terms of projects that you're working on a year that's outside of your BAU. So it really did wake us up, I guess, having started down this process that we are trying to do too much with too little, would be fair to say. So this document is, it's working well, and we will come back to you at some point with priorities, with the projects we believe will best deliver your long-term plan aspirations. And that hopefully will be in a position to give you a good heads up on that, I think, in the next 6 months. So it's working very, very well. And happy to take questions on that planning framework.
That's really important that councillors do sign off on those priorities, because that focuses management on the things they have to do that are not negotiable. So I like to use the analogy that there'll be a number of projects that I call you'll get a broken neck if you don't do it. So that focuses them quite clearly on what your expectations are. The next one is, I call it a blood nose, that if they don't get these projects completed and done on time, they could end up with a blood nose. And the third one is a red face, that if you don't do that, all you're going to get is a red face. So it sets the priorities for the council and the staff, and that you're on the same page, wanting to achieve your priorities first, and the staff have a clear guideline of what they are to achieve and what the importance is. And I think that will help both you and them go through your process at the annual, the long-term plan, so that you actually understand and recognise resource to outputs. So it's just not a whole lot of wish lists thing that you put on the list and actually they're not achieved because A, you don't fund them, or B, you don't resource them. And that's important to do. So it's just aligning that business practice a bit more. And I commend the staff. I've just been reviewing some of the stuff they sent through last week, and that's really good.
So, Mr. Chair, we get to see these 210 projects, etc. So it's not staff that are going to prioritise them. It comes back to us to prioritise.
They will do a prioritisation based on their knowledge, which will then be ticked off by you, or amended.
Of the whole, all of them.
Many of the processes there will be like.
So those have all been there at some stage, have been priority for us to agree to them. So.
Through you, Mr. Chair, if I may just answer Councillor's question. Yeah, certainly things like the $5 million projects, obviously that they were your decisions, and we will come back and report about progress on those and the priorities around those. But I came in obviously 2 years ago with the rose-tinted glasses and said we need to be doing all these things, and we threw a whole lot of those into the team. And we also went through the Best Workplace Survey last year, and that raised a whole lot of identified a whole lot of opportunities that the staff were keen on, so right, we're rolling out the staff together and see, divided into teams and see, come up with a whole lot of ideas that are going to help us and give you ideas around the long-term plan delivery. We got something like about 300 different ideas out of that. It was just out on the top. So those ones I wouldn't expect to bring back to you. I think that's out of
That's internal. That's okay. That's fine.
So,
I understand it now. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I would say that sometimes we say, hey, this better be done, but if we as a council say, hey, it's a priority, we've got to recognise that we've probably got to cut something down there.
That's correct, and that's what I want to be able to bring, or what your chief executive will be able to bring back to you, is that if you want to do something into the priority list, what's negotiable?
Yeah.
And you might have to change something, and look, circumstances change, the importance of priorities change, and it's something that I think that your priority A projects, and those really important ones you as a council want to undertake, they are regularly reported to you, possibly I would suggest quarterly, maybe through this committee, that the priorities and progress on those are maintained. And the progress should be in two ways. One, how much of the budget is spent and how much of the project has been undertaken. Right? And that allows you then, with the project's 100% finished and the budget's 75% consumed, that allows you as a council to take an intervention and move that surplus funds to somewhere else, or if there's a shortfall in a project, move it to a project that may be 100% spent but only 80% complete. So it allows you to work through those a little bit better and set the priorities. So we're on good track for that, I think.
yeah, I'm very confident. I think we're probably ahead of where I thought we would be at this point.
Yeah. And I have to commend the staff that have done that with their
Have
internal
you got a
resources.
small group, sorry, Mr. Chair, is there a small group working on it, overseeing it, or who have you got working on it?
Yeah, we've got two names. So Julie Christensen,
Yes.
who you're familiar with, is leading that and doing a fantastic job. She keeps us honest, keeps us on track. But each of the executive team members have a responsibility for developing the priorities and goals and some objectives of their team, again, and aligning them to the long-term plan. So it's very much the executive team, but Julie's keeping us on track.
Thank you.
And I'll be continually monitoring the alignment to your long-term plan, which I think is important. Moving on to risk framework, I think there's